Straight ahead on CBS 19 News at 4, another case of potentially deadly gun violence in our area. A Fluvanna apartment building sprayed with gunfire, what police say was a targeted hit. They need your help in finding the shooters. And following a weekend of deadly gun violence across the nation, President Biden on new regulations on so-called ghost guns. We'll explain what that is. CBS 19 News at 4 starts right now.
Live from the CBS 19 News studio, this is CBS 19 News at 4, Charlottesville News First.
Good afternoon, I'm Rick Young. Carly has a day off. Thanks for joining us. A gorgeous day today. Let's hope for more of this. Here's AJ with the first look at your forecast. AJ.
Hello and a good afternoon, Rick. Yeah, it's really a great day. We've been on the cooler side to start off the month of April. Only had 2 days so far this month with temperatures above average, but this entire week, we're going to see temperatures above average. Good amount of sunshine on our JS Skyline network. A little bit of cloud coverage building its way in from the west there. But besides that, really great afternoon, great evening to spend some time outside. We're in the low to middle 70s with 74 in Charlottesville and Crozet, 75 in Lake Monticello, still in the upper 60s in Mineral, Madison, and Syria, 73 for our friends in Standardsville. Doppler radar here looking good. You can see some rainfall along the West Virginia-Kentucky border there, also moving into parts of Ohio. But besides that, we're pretty calm and clear across central Virginia. Your weather headlines here have temperatures even approaching 80 degrees for your Tuesday. But will those 80-degree highs be accompanied with some rain chances? I'll have those details for you here coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, AJ. Developing now, this weekend, Fluvanna police respond to a late-night shooting at a county apartment complex. CBS 19's Dan Schutte in the newsroom with the latest on this developing story. Dan.
Thank you, Rick. Yeah, it's developing. We're getting new law enforcement perspective on this today. Now, let me fill you in. At 3:15 Saturday morning, Fluvanna County Police responding to multiple 911 calls about shots fired. This was at an occupied apartment on Fawn Lake Road. The residents inside were not injured, but the deputies do believe this was a targeted shooting. This is video from the scene. You can see windows now boarded up and bullet holes left behind. The sheriff's office says people were home at the time of the shooting, but nobody was hurt. They did find evidence that a handgun and a shotgun were used after recovering more than 20 bullet casings. Today we spoke with Major David Wells from the Sheriff's Department. He says they haven't determined a motive for the shooting yet, but they are offering a $2,500 reward for information leading to an arrest.
I mean, there was two people in that apartment. This could have easily been a double homicide. And like I said, this is Fluvanna County. We like to keep things quiet. We don't like these type of shootings. And when this happens, we want to get it solved and get these people in jail as soon as possible.
Again, that reward is $2,500 for any information that helps lead to an arrest. If you have a tip, you can call the sheriff's office. They'll let you remain anonymous. We spoke with residents yesterday, and they didn't want to talk on camera, but they said the 8-home apartment complex is a pretty tight-knit community. They hold regular barbecues together, and they really don't see this kind of commotion, and that makes the act of violence all the more concerning there. We'll keep you up to date on the story on air and on CBS19news.com. Back to you in the studio, Rick.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. New at 4, in honor of Donate Life Month and the life-saving work the UVA Transplant Center has done, UVA Health has installed a pinwheel and butterfly garden outside the medical center. The over 1,100 pinwheels are meant to spread awareness and celebrate the lives touched by organ donation and transplantation. Amy Schmidt-Morris from the UVA Transplant Center says this month is a good time to reflect on all the meaningful work they do throughout the year.
Donate Life Month is such a wonderful time for me to just take pause and remember everything that goes in and the village it takes to bring a patient to transplant, and also the compassion and generosity of the spirit of our donors and their family.
Schmidt-Morris said this work has been especially important throughout the pandemic. Since the outbreak, they have performed 6 lung transplants for COVID patients. Now, here's a reminder. Customers in the city of Charlottesville can pay any outstanding utility balances by contacting the number or email address on your screen. Green door hangers will be distributed to people who haven't paid their utility bills. Customers with unpaid balances can avoid this by contacting utility billing and setting up payment arrangements. These services will begin to be disconnected starting today. Well, now with an eye on the nation, there is pressure on the president. President Joe Biden announcing a new firearm regulation to contain the use of privately made weapons. As Shimon Prokopez reports, the move comes as he faces pressure to take more steps to address a national crisis of gun violence after another deadly weekend.
Tragedy from coast to coast as shootings rock neighborhoods nationwide. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, shots fired early Sunday morning at a nightclub, leaving 2 dead and at least 10 injured, according to police.
This is another mindless and senseless gun-related incident.
Police are still uncertain about the number of shooters, but they believe the suspects may have slipped out as the crowd of up to 150 rushed for the exits after the shooting began.
This is not who we are. This is not Cedar Rapids. Today, I challenge all of us to meet the need so clearly before us. We must be the change.
A birthday party in Indianapolis ended with gunshots early Sunday morning.
Some type of fight or disturbance broke out, and then shots occurred.
Officers arrived at the scene and found 1 man dead and at least 5 others with gunshot wounds. And in Georgia, the Coweta County coroner arrived at a fatal armed robbery and discovered his father, mother, and son were the victims. The local police chief shocked.
Right now I'm speechless, really. I've had a hard time talking about it. You know, we don't have stuff like here in Grantmore like that. I mean, this is a nice, quiet little town.
Tommy Hawk, his wife Evelyn, and 19-year-old grandson Luke were killed at the family's shooting range. The ATF is assisting in the investigation where police estimated at least 40 guns were stolen. In Los Angeles County, police responding Sunday afternoon to a shooting in the Willowbrook neighborhood that left 2 dead and 5 others wounded.
There were at least 2 vehicles that approached the area. There were suspects within that vehicle that shot the victims.
In Washington, D.C., 4 people shot near Nationals Park at the conclusion of the game Saturday night. 2 teens were among the injured. All injuries appear to be non-life-threatening, police say. And in New York, shots rang out during what police say was a dispute between 2 individuals on Friday in the South Bronx, resulting in the death of 16-year-old Angela Yambo. 2 other teens were wounded. A 17-year-old was arrested the next day in connection with the shooting. A police source told CNN a so-called ghost gun has been recovered. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York calling for a crackdown on the privately made firearms.
These guns are too easy to build, too hard to trace, and too dangerous to be on our streets. The number of ghost guns in New York City and on Long Island are skyrocketing.
It's just insanity. So gun control is the focus of the White House today. President Joe Biden has a wish list of reforms for Congress. 3 sources with knowledge of the situation says he's focused on regulating, again, so-called ghost guns. People can put them together at home from kits, so they're hard to trace or regulate. Classifying some of their parts as firearms could change that. Also, as soon as today, Biden is expected to name his pick to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Sheriff's deputies in Collier County, Florida, arrested a man who had an interesting assortment of illegal items in his truck: guns, drugs, and a live alligator. Deputies recognized the driver, Michael Marola, from previous encounters as having a suspended license. They said when they pulled Marola over Friday, they found drugs and 2 firearms inside the truck. But in the bed of the pickup, they found an open plastic tub with a baby alligator in it. Marola was charged with drug possession and carrying concealed firearms. He was released on bond Saturday, set to appear in court on May 2nd. Well, people who don't identify as male or female can now make it official on a form of ID. The State Department will now list X as a marker on U.S. passports. Designation is designed or defined as unspecified or another gender identity. This makes the Department of State the first governmental agency to make this offer on a document. Officials say they did research with a diverse group, including those in the LGBTQI+ community. More information is available at travel.state.gov/gender. TV's Dr. Oz wants to be Senator Oz, and he just got former President Donald Trump's endorsement. Dr. Mehmet Oz has thrown his hat in the ring in Pennsylvania's Senate race. It's a race that'll be closely watched in November's midterm elections because it could be the Democrats' best chance of picking up a GOP-held seat. In throwing Trump's support behind Dr. Oz, he pointed to the celebrity doctor's education and fame, but also said, quote, "This is all about winning elections in order to stop the radical left maniacs from destroying our country." Well, some people in D.C. were treated to a special tour of the White House gardens over the weekend. Tickets were distributed to people for free with timed entry slots. Tours are generally available one weekend in the spring and fall, typically in April and October. The White House grounds are the oldest continually maintained landscape in the U.S. Well, still ahead on the CBS 19 News at 4, quite a discovery for a Virginia man who got more than he realized when he set out on a quest to find his biological father. We'll have his story. Plus, one U.S. health official says we could see COVID-19 vaccines become an annual shot as early as fall. We'll explain. But first, we look at the latest research that shows the pros and cons of changing school start times after your Weather Authority forecast with AJ.
Yeah, some warmer weather back in the forecast this week, but we're also going to see a little bit more humidity as we creep towards the middle half of the week. I'll have a check on rain chances and your full extended forecast after this.